Thank you, Kanika. And I welcome everyone once again. I hope all of you are keeping fine in this pandemic and following your studies and your internships smoothly. I welcome everyone in today's event. Meet the Author series is an exclusive program we are doing with the top B institutes in country, where India's most successful serial entrepreneur, Mr. Sandeep Aggarwal, would be giving the guru mantras of entrepreneurship and e-commerce. He will also share some excerpts of his upcoming autobiography, Fall Again, Rise Again. All students will also get a chance to interact with Mr. Aggarwal and get the guidance on how to follow their passion for entrepreneurship and get and answer queries related to their career. So let me just show you a other way that how you can learn all those things. As we are hosting this meet virtually, hence this is streaming live at Facebook and YouTube also. So people who have joined us here, beyond that, people are watching us on Facebook, people are watching us on YouTube. Let me tell you which all way you are getting learnings today. Firstly, we'll get to learn the mantras of entrepreneurship from Mr. Sandeep Aggarwal, who is the father of two marketplace in country, Shopclose and Droom. He will also share some of the excerpts, as I said, excerpts of his upcoming autobiography, Fall Again, Rise Again. We'll also have some interesting quiz for you. And each winner will get an authored signed copy of the autobiography. In the last, we'll have a Q&A session where you would be able to ask any sort of questions to Mr. Aggarwal and you can take so many learnings. Also, I've got some very exciting for you, just a Twitter competition. You have to tweet your favorite moments from the event, use the hashtag Fall Again, Rise Again, and tag Droom handle Let's Droom and Sandeep Aggarwal. Sandeep AGG is the hashtag. You can use that. And the more tweets will win you the exciting prizes. 3 members will win the most tweet prizes, and towards the end, we'll announce the winner of this. To start with the agenda now, firstly, I will invite Mr. Sandeep Aggarwal, a serial tech entrepreneur, unicorn founder, and angel investor. He has founded 2 e-commerce marketplaces in country, Droom and Shopclose. Widely known as father of marketplace concept, Sandeep is the most celebrated tech entrepreneur in country. Wall Street top analyst turned entrepreneur Sandeep has over 20 years of rich experience in internet and technology industry in Silicon Valley and India. Let me just show you a video and then we'll hear directly from Sandeep. Kanika, can we have that video, please?
Sandeep Aggarwal is a serial entrepreneur, angel investor, internet visionary, and philanthropist. He is founder of 2 e-commerce giants in India, Shopclose and Droom. Sandeep is also the founder of Sandeep Aggarwal Foundation. His mission is to build an inclusive India by addressing our nation's multifaceted development challenges and contribute to its collective aspirations. Sandeep Aggarwal Foundation is helping underprivileged children and women nationwide and promoting entrepreneurship. The story begins in a modest Aggarwal home. Sandeep was a moderate intellectual in his younger age. With his growing entrepreneurial urge in his college days, he flew to the US and rooted himself strongly into data and analytics. He found fame and success, but the entrepreneurial urge was pushing him to get more from life. He dropped out from his high-paying job with a vision to build an e-commerce marketplace in India. The journey from US to India was not simple, and he had to toil day and night to make his dream a reality. He had to carve his own niche, and then came Shopclose, an e-commerce marketplace mainly targeting Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities in India. We can say, in search of entrepreneurship, Shopclose found Sandeep. Post-Shopclose, he set up his new venture, Droom. He is the first and foremost entrepreneur to boost entrepreneurship in India through MTV Dropout. Sandeep Aggarwal, with his youthful attitude, inimitable entrepreneurial skills, and a strong vision with Droomers, is jolting the used automobile market in India.
lot, Kanika. Now, without any delay, now I would like to hand over the screen space to Mr. Sandeep Aggarwal to give us Entrepreneurship Guru Mantra to our attendees, organized by EIC at IIM Rohtak today to become good professional and follow their passion for entrepreneurship. Over to you, Sandeep.
Thank you, Shashank. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having us. And as Shashank mentioned, we'll share some of the things which I probably gathered as a learning while building career, like the way you are building, anyone else is building. So happy to share some part of my journey. But let's make it interactive. I think we took a lot of time in introduction and playing video several times. So apologize for that, but I love to hear more and more people and will like to receive as many questions as you may have. But to begin with, again, thank you, IIM Rohtak, for having us. I would just first maybe in a big picture, I would like to say that, we may not realize while living through this, but India is going through the golden era of entrepreneurship. If you look at the last several hundred years of modern history, India missed industrial revolution, right? India did not have a gold rush like California. India did not rise like America during the creation of almighty dollars or the financial system. India was not like rising like the Japan did rise almost for 5 decades after World War II until recently. And then the latest one would be the rise of China in the last 4 or 5 decades. So unfortunately, we did not touch any of these things. And these are some of the largest man-made modern history, wealth creation, social transformation opportunity. But let me tell you what we have been going through, I would say, especially for the last 1 decade, is in terms of magnitude, in terms of theoretical potential, is no less than the Industrial Revolution or rise of America or Japan or China in the modern history. The digital revolution and the entrepreneurial revolution in India is very deep, very profound, and probably just has scratched the surface. So first of all, I would encourage each one of you to absolutely keep entrepreneurship as one of the career choices. Some of you may want to build your career in marketing or finance, join a management consulting company or an investment bank, work in FMCG, healthcare, right? But I feel, this is a golden era. It's a renaissance of an entrepreneurship in India. We are among the youngest nation with a median age of around 27. 65% of Indians have been born after 1990. There are very few countries like that. And then, we are just waiting, we are part of among the, as I mentioned, top 6-7 largest man-made opportunity for social transformation, wealth creation, making impact from your career. There are 3 things which goes in your favor. It's the first time in Indian history, it's a democratization of entrepreneurship. So you no longer need to be born with a silver spoon in your mouth to be an entrepreneur, right? You don't need to have a special last name to be the 2nd generation or 3rd generation entrepreneur, right? You can pretty much be the 1st generation entrepreneur, start from a very humble start. Third thing is, whether in US or in India or even in China, the modern style of entrepreneurship has consistently rewarded people who came from a typical middle class background, which is pretty much you and I or everyone else. These things are very, very powerful. And they were, if you look at whether, these things were not in existence anytime in the last 100, 200, 300 years in India, right? Then you think about it, India has, in terms of internet penetration, in terms of mobile phone adoption, in terms of youth and their adoption of new technology, and them being experimental or leaders versus laggards in terms of adoption of new things. It's all favoring the new generation entrepreneurs, right? If you look at the new generation of wealth creation and social transformation happened in United States in around 1955. How it started was that two people with the last name called Hewlett and Packard happened to meet someone called Tom Perkins, right? And that's how the modern style of company creation or entrepreneurship started. So Hewlett and Packard became HP, one of the largest technology company, right? And Tom Perkins ended up founding the first modern style VC fund called Kleiner Perkins. This was 1955, 1956, when they accidentally happened to meet, at Stanford University, right? In India, as you know, from Flipkart to Paytm to Baiju to Swiggy to Zomato to Paytm to Naukri.com, a lot of new companies have been created. I spent majority of my adult life in United States, came to India around the same time, 9 years back, right? That time, India had probably total 50 internet-based or digital economy-based companies, 80 million internet users, 30 million mobile phone users, and maybe the market cap of all the public and private companies was 2 billion. Today India has, around 10,000 plus startups. Internet users are close to 700 million plus, right? There are if you look at the wealth creation by all the public and private companies, it's around 150 billion, right? And I think by 2025, India will have internet users close to 1.1 billion. There could be maybe 250,000 internet or digital economy led startups, probably another 250,000 other startups, which could be restaurant, which could be a food brand, which could be Ayurveda brand, right? And then the wealth creation could minimum be $500 billion, right? India accounted for 35% of global GDP until 1650 AD. At bottom, around 1992, 1995, we accounted for 2% of global GDP. We are back to around 4.5%, 5% right now. And I feel the youth, which is pretty much every student at IIM Rohtak, can participate in this and help India to go back to 15 to 20% of global GDP. The single industry and single choice of profession which can bring back India to its old glorious past is really the digital economy and entrepreneurship. So I would highly encourage each one of you to participate in this. It's a renaissance of entrepreneurship. It's a renaissance of digital economy. And you are no longer limited to your last name, family background, even geographical constraint. The person who, India produced the grandmaster in chess, right? Vishwanathan Anand, he was beaten by a 14-year-old kid from Norway because of internet. By the time he was 14-year-old, he played chess so much from Norway, where for 9 months, you can't even see the sun. And and the sunset happens at 3:30 p.m. It's very depressing if you wear your Indian hat and live in Norway. And at the age of 14, he became the new grandmaster. So clearly, in the past, you had to be in Boston to go to Harvard. You had to be in Delhi to go to All India Medical Sciences. You had to be in the center of everything to be part of that. But internet has even removed that. And, of course, value proposition of that is more well understood with COVID, where I'm not in Rohtak, but speaking to a lot of you, right? But this was a value proposition which internet has offered, which has been more noticed during COVID. So all I wanted to encourage each one of you that please don't underestimate that you have at the prime of your career, in India, with almost 1 billion digital users and with a complete entry barrier so low for you to become entrepreneur. So I would say, just last thing before we go to the next step, you know, in 1850, the world's highest gold reserve was found in a place called Sacramento in California, United States. 150,000 people that time throughout the earth moved to Sacramento with the hope of finding gold. You know what was 7% of the people found gold. You know what was a common thing among everyone who found the gold? They were part of that gold rush, right? So a lot of, you know, like you think about it, from Deep Karwa to Sanjeev Bikhchandani to Sachin Bansal, Benny Bansal to Vijay Shekhar Sharma to so many, these entrepreneurs are come from a typical middle class family background. They had an emphasis on education. None of them were born with a silver spoon in mouth, right? And they ended up creating, right? So you know, like why could Mark Zuckerberg create Facebook? Because he grew up as a kid watching Bill Gates and was so inspired by him. So in the past, we did not even, when I started Shop Clues in 2011, the local heroes were Deep Karwa, Sanjeev Bikhchandani, and maybe 4 more. But now the local heroes in India, where you and I can relate to, are probably 500. And the biggest thing, which of course I capture in my book also, is if they can do it, so can you. And that is the biggest opportunity India never offered before. So the ecosystem is fully ripe. There's a very large audience. Digital has, you know, the need of capital to need of large team to be in the prime location in Bangalore or Gurgaon is no longer needed. So everything is in your favor. So, but if you jump, but you know, you will get your gold if you become part of this. So I would absolutely encourage each one of you that marketing career is awesome, right? Finance career is awesome. Operation career is awesome. Working in investment banking or management consulting can be very satisfying. But trust me, entrepreneur career is very, very awesome, can be very, very fulfilling, and you can make larger than life impact. You can have a social impact, wealth creation, and become a local hero for future generations to come. So I would highly encourage each one of you to consider this and being part of that. Next 15, 20 years, digital revolution and entrepreneurship in India can take India back 15 to 20% of global GDP. And you can be part of that. So you have that opportunity and it's just waiting for you. So please do participate. And I think, Shashank, back to you. I don't know what is next, if we are taking question or anything else, but yeah, guys, I mean, that would be my main message to entire crowd at IIM Rohtak.
No, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Sandeep, for giving this detailed analysis of your experience and your vision about the internet industry and kind of potential India has for digital economy. I'll definitely come back to you for the Q&A session. And you rightly said, I'm also living my entrepreneurship journey working at Droom, because you say everyone at Droom is an entrepreneur. I also follow some of your quotes, and my favorite one is, and I follow your quotes on your website, by the way. And my favorite one is 4 Ps. If you can master 4 Ps, process, people, policy, and platform, you can pretty much create any business. And I hope all of our attendees are tweeting, because there is a Twitter competition also going on. And as I said, we have got a quiz for you. So let me just tell you the rules for quiz quickly. Each question will have options and you need to choose one. It will come on your screen. And you will get 30 seconds to answer each question. I'll take my colleague Isha help here, as similar computer knows everything in KBC. Isha knows the question, Isha knows the answer. I'm just telling those questions here. So Isha,
I'm sure it'll go smooth. They all have cracked CAT, so they will do fine with multiple choice questions.
Yeah, definitely. And I must tell you, people who would be giving the right answers, we have surprises for them. I've already informed your coordinators, Tanisha and Megha. There'll be a author signed copy for you, and it will be reaching your places pretty soon. So let me start with the quiz. Isha, can we have the first question of the quiz, please?
Sure, Shashank.
So the first question on the quiz is, which are the two companies founded by Mr. Sandeep Aggarwal? Is it Droom and Shopclues? Is it Shopclues and Snapdeal? Is it Snapdeal and Flipkart? Or is it Myntra and Droom? Let's see how many people give the correct answer. If you were hearing me in the beginning very focusedly, I did give answer of this. And the timing's running up for this. Let me tell you that. TikTok and Isha will just...
So time is up.
Yep. Time is up. What's the correct answer, Isha?
So I am just sharing results.
Yeah. Okay, so 94% people gave the correct answer. The correct answer is Droom and Shopclues. Both are unicorns, and Shopclues became the 5th unicorn in country and the fastest entry in the unicorn club. What's the next question we have, Isha, in the quiz? Wow. So the next question is, in which year Shopclues was founded? Was it 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012? Which year was that when Shopclues was founded? Let's see how many people give it the right answer here. Come on, guys. I'm happy to give more and more author signed
Time
copies.
is up.
Yeah, time is up for this one too.
Sharing results.
Yeah. 2011 got 69%, 2010 got 18%. What's the correct answer we have, Isha, here?
2011 is the right answer.
2011 is the correct answer.
But Shashank, I would like to share one quick anecdote. So guys, I really thought of an I was a Wall Street analyst, almost making $1 million based out of San Francisco. And the first time ever I thought about doing Shopclues was actually 10th October 2010. So the book is releasing on 10th October 2020, which is a completion of my 10 years of entrepreneurial journey. But technically the company was incorporated in 2011. So.
Cool. Thanks, Sandeep, for sharing that too. What's the next question we have, Isha, with us?
So this is the next question on your screen.
So the next question on the screen is, which of the following TV reality show was judged by Sandeep Aggarwal? The World Show, MTV Dropout, MTV Roadies, or none of the above? I'm sure if you guys are into you guys are into B school, I'm sure you guys must be following that particular show. And I'm expecting a good percentage on this particular question. Let's see how many people give the correct answer here. And time is running out for this TikTok.
So time is up.
Yeah. Impressive. 72% people gave the correct answer. Sandeep was a judge on MTV Dropout, which was a TV reality show on startup only. And that's the only reality show on startups. What's the next question we have, Isha? Next question on your screen is, Shopclues was which e-commerce entrant in India? Was it 3rd, 5th, 35th, or 18th? Shopclues was which e-commerce entrant in India? This is a tricky one. Let me just see how many students give the correct answer for this.
So time is up. I am sharing results.
Wow, this is the mixed.
Okay, so maybe I can quickly chime in.
I need your expertise here.
Yeah. So guys, actually, when I started Shopclues, we were the 35th e-commerce company. While it looks like ages, but trust me, that time there were a lot of companies like Urban Touch, Fashion and You. Infibeam was almost as big as Flipkart, right? Snapdeal was not even e-commerce company. It was more like a Groupon, group buying. But there were 35 e-commerce companies. And I remember a board in my cubicle when we started Shop Clues where all 35 companies were written like a column. And every day we will scratch how many we have crossed in terms of size and market share. And within 6 months of our operations, we were very lucky to become the fourth largest.
Wow, that's really impressive to hear, Sandeep. But people who gave the answer as 35th entrant, they got the correct answer with them. What's the next question we have, Isha, with us? So the next question is, when did Sandeep Aggarwal think about becoming an entrepreneur? Was it 10th October 2010, 5th July 2012, 14th April 2014, or 8th December 2013? Sandeep just gave an answer. I'm just giving you a hint here. Sandeep just gave answer of this, and I'm expecting 100% marks on this particular question. Let's see how many people get the correct answer.
Time
When
is
did
up.
Sandeep Aggarwal think about becoming an entrepreneur? Oh, time is up. Let's see how many people
Sharing
get the correct.
results.
89% people got the correct answer. 10th October 2010, when Sandeep started his entrepreneurship journey, and he's completing a decade on 10th October 2020. And the same day, the autobiography called Fall Again, Rise Again is getting released. Thanks a lot, Isha, for helping me with this quiz. I'm sure our student definitely enjoyed this. But before I open the floor for Q&A, let me just remind everyone, the competition, the tweeting competition is still going on. You have to just use the hashtag Fall Again, Rise Again, and you have to tag Let's Drone, and you have to tag Sandeep Aggarwal at Sandeep AGG. So keep tweeting and win the exciting prizes. With that, I'll open the floor for Q&A. There are simple rules how you can ask the questions. There is a Q&A box. You can write the question there. Your coordinators are with me, Megha. They'll pick the question and they'll ask on your behalf. Or you can just raise your hand. You will just find raise your hand sign on your screen. You can just raise your hand. I'll get to know that you have raised the hand. I'll give you the access and you can ask the question here. With this, I open the floor for Q&A, and I have a hand raised. Harminder, if we can give access to Suvankar.
Sure, Shashank.
Yeah. Hi, Suvankar.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, hi, Suvankar. We can hear you.
So I have a question for sir.
Yes.
Actually, I have just drafted a new book and I want to publish it as an ebook. So
Wow.
can you just tell me the strategy for getting it the bestseller?
Wow.
Well, I think, look, I can tell you how to publish a book. We still do not know how to create a bestseller book, right? So, but yeah, I think, it's first of all, congratulations for authoring a book.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
In my case, it took me a lot of time. I was thinking of writing something like this, primarily if it could help others to learn a little bit from my experiences. But I think look, I think book publishing has become much easier. You can
I am
have,
talking about ebook, like
right.
Amazon ebook.
Yeah, so you can look, so you will have to think about either a Audible edition or a Kindle, right? And
Kindle edition.
yeah, so typically, look, in that case, honestly, the question is better suited for Amazon, but you can really work the Kindle team. In our case, we wrote the book. Rupa Publication is a publisher, and then they only as a publisher worked for the audio edition and the Kindle edition, so ebook for that, and they pretty much took care of it. If you don't have a publisher and you still want to work on Kindle, my guess is you will have to work with a Kindle team to make it happen.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sandeep, and thanks, Vanka. I hope that answers your question, and all the best for your book.
Thank you.
I'll move to the next participant, and Tanisha, Mukul actually posted his question in the Q&A box as well. I would like you to just take that question to us.
So Shank, actually I read the question, so let me, maybe I can just answer. So
Yeah.
I think Mukul Dubey is asking a question that it is super difficult to pursue entrepreneurship while doing an MBA or immediately after MBA jumping into entrepreneurship. So Mukul, this is a very, very nice question. I think I'm sure each one of us go through this. I have personally gone through that. I went for my MBA in United States. That time dot-com boom, the first dot-com boom was happening. I used to feel very frustrated that why I'm in business school, why I'm not in Silicon Valley and starting the next Yahoo now, next AOL. Those were the big companies that time, right? So you know, while I can share your concern and pain, let me say this way that, you know, look guys, your role is what you carve out. Now, entrepreneurship never come on a platter, right? And then, you know, entrepreneurship, whatever, the startup does not care how old are you, you know, how much is your net worth, how much is your student loan, are you a full-time, part-time. The startup does not care about that. It goes through its own gestation, very similar to it takes 9 months for a baby to be born, right? So my point is, but the only thing is here, anytime you do practice, you know how Malcolm Gladwell has mentioned in his book about Outlier, that it takes 10,000 hours to practice, you know, to excel in something. So my point is, Mukul, even just the fact you are thinking about it is actually your prototyping for becoming an entrepreneur has started. I prototyped 150 times while as MBA student, even before MBA, even as a Wall Street analyst. I will always have a daytime job, rewarding job, but will always be thinking about entrepreneurship. So ShopClues was really not my first company. It was probably my 150th company because I had already prototyped so many times. So I could not even tell that this time it will actually work. So my point is, biggest thing is you should be driven by passion. You should be driven by cause. And if you don't give up, you know, you will one day will jump into that. Lot of things you do now actually will be the same thing you will be doing after saving money or after working for a few years. So sooner you start, the better it will help you, right? You will absolutely, nothing will be straight line. You will make a lot of mistakes, but all will be part of prototype, which will make you one day world-class entrepreneur. So my answer to you is, think about what is your idea? How do you make a presentation about it? Are there team members you can team up with, right? Can you pitch? Can you have an elevator pitch for the investor, right? Can you size a market? Can you think about competition? Who are your benchmarks? All those things you will be answering and will only make you, you know, Shah Rukh Khan becoming a movie actor. It was not like that one day he got and then he learned everything and did it. He was probably acting as a finest actor 10 years before he got his first role, right? So I'm not implying that it'll take you 10 years, but just start. Just the fact you are thinking about it is a great thing. Don't think that as, you know, as a random thought, and keep on investing. And one day, you know, a lot of dots will, you know, gets connected. So, and then trust me, a lot in entrepreneurship, ignorance is bliss. So, you know, if you are doing MBA, you may not, you know, do a full-time entrepreneurship immediately after MBA. You may want to pay your student loan. Maybe your shadi.com profile looks better if you are working on a multinational company and making certain salary rather than entrepreneurship. But trust me, just the fact you are investing in this will only make you, will only bring you closer and closer to your goal. I think Shashank and guys, Tanisha and Mega, I can see a lot of questions. I can see a couple of more questions. So
Yeah.
maybe I'll just read it and answer. And if Shashank, if there's someone raising hand.
People are there with the raise hands. We'll just take them first.
Okay,
and
sure.
Thank you so much, sir, for your
Kasturi,
Thanks a
if we
lot.
can give access to Kasturi, please. Harminder, can we give access to Kasturi? Yeah. Hi, Kasturi.
Hello, sir. This
Hi.
is Kasturi Revatkar from
Yeah.
PGP 11 batch IIM Rohtak.
Yeah.
I want to ask question that how MBA helped as a part in your entrepreneurial journey? Like, what was the role of MBA in it?
Yeah. So, Kasturi, that's a great question. Look, see, uh, I think MBA helped me in applying the frameworks from a BCGB, from BCG 2x2 metric to Maslow need hierarchy to the Porter five forces, right? It all, I was very theoretical, right? So for me, actually, MBA really helped in terms of having structured approach to my thinking, right? And then a lot of time as an entrepreneur, I will be thinking about something, and later on I will find that as part of Philip Kotler book or a Porter book or somewhere as a business lesson, as a framework which developed and evolved as a science probably a few hundred years back, right? So let me say this way: you don't need an honestly MBA to be an entrepreneurship, but if you have one, it will only help you to maybe increase your likelihood of success. It does not guarantee success at all, right? And I'll be very clear. You don't need an MBA to be an entrepreneur, and does not guarantee success, but it can help you think in frameworks, and it can help you, and it can increase the likelihood of success, right?
Thank you.
But the flip side is MBA sometimes teaches you too much to risk mitigate, and it takes you away from entrepreneurship.
Yeah, true. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, sir.
Thanks, Kasturi.
Sure.
I hope that answer your questions.
Yeah.
Can we give access to Shraddha Aggarwal, please?
Sure.
Hi, Shraddha. You can ask your question now.
Hello. So
Hi.
my question is, as the scenarios are changing, so how fast can new startups adapt to the changing technologies? And what are your views on government's more nationalistic approach? Is it feasible in the era of globalization?
Yeah. So, Kasturi, sorry, Shraddha, thank you for two questions. They are independent in my view. So, on the first part, look, from the ice age until now, everything has rewarded to at what speed you adapt yourself. So, right, so startups are not exception, right? I mean, and especially a tech play, by the time you establish your offering, maybe your choice of technology stack, maybe your choice of technologies, maybe everything you thought is little bit dated. So from a fashion to the ladies handbag to the hairstyle, to the a lot of things change. Same way technology, we live in a very very fast environment, and absolutely, as they say, survival of the fittest in the world of startup, in my view. For startup, for entrepreneur, for the founding team, and even anyone working in the startup, how fast do you adapt yourself is really the name of the game, right? Like we at Droom, first 46 months in a row, we do 8 to 20% month over month each month, and we did 1 crore rupees business in January 2015, right? And in January 2019, we did 600 crore rupees, right? So it's not easy to adapt. Forget about technology. It is not easy. If you are a professional, if you are in finance, HR, legal, does not matter, to adapt, because you are the same person, right? And the country has grown 6% year over year. During the same time, the company has grown 600%, right? So yes, I mean, one should always, basically, change is the only constant you have to keep in mind. And every day your biggest competitor will be you, where whatever is part of legacy, but may not be, but must be refreshed for today, right? So that is one part. On a nationalistic side, look, there are different things which may vary. While I'm a former Wall Street analyst. I have done a lot of work on macroeconomics and open market theories. And absolutely, globalization and open market theories have been in vogue for last 100 years. But if you look at carefully, actually more nationalistic movement is happening everywhere. So it's not only in India, in China, in USA, in Western Europe, in Japan, right? The nationalistic, a little bit of nationalistic view. See, open market and protecting some of the strategic industries are not mutually exclusive, right? So you can be a proponent of globalization and open markets, but yet some industries can still be more protective in nature. And you can see China has created almost $2 trillion in new wealth because of that nationalistic attitude. The Baidu, the Sina, Sohu, Alibaba, TikTok, and so many other companies, PUBG and so on, would not be around if the country did not have a nationalistic favor for certain new age economy companies, right? So in my view, globalization and free economy is one philosophy, but giving a preference to certain industries which can create more employment, which can create large, unproportionately higher wealth, which can create a strategic advantage for the nation. Country should not be shying or hesitant in the name of being called as nationalistic.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Sandeep, for detailed answer. I hope Shraddha must have got the answer she was looking forward.
Yes, yes, completely.
Thank you. Thanks, Shraddha. Next, we have Sandeep. Sandeep, you can ask your question now. Hello, Sandeep, can you hear us? Looks like Sandeep is facing some technical challenge. Meanwhile, we can take question from Prerna Patel. Hi, Prerna.
Hello, sir. I am Prerna Patil from PGP 11 of IIM Rohtak. So, sir, as you told us a story and it's really inspiring. And we all know that you became the best internet analyst at Wall Street. So, I would like to know how being that involved in Wall Street helped you shape your startup.
Yeah, I think, Prerna, thank you for the question. It's very nice. So it's a little bit similar to how someone previously asked about the role of MBA and entrepreneurship. Wall Street is very intense. Like I used to wake up at 3:30 in the morning to be in office at 4:30 because I was based out of Silicon Valley and it's 3 hours behind New York. So stock exchange will open at 7:30 in New York, which will be 4:30 in New York. I mean, stock market will open at 9, but 7:30 the preparation will start. Right? It taught me, I was very fortunate to meet, interact, or follow from Steve Jobs to Bill Gates to Mark Zuckerberg to Larry Page to Sergey Brin, Reed Hastings, and so many legendary internet founders. As an analyst, I covered their companies, I interacted with them, I followed their strategy, analyzed it, poke holes. When I became entrepreneur, it became very rewarding because I experienced how to analyze a company, what are the holes, where things can go wrong, how the founders think. A lot of those things really helped me. They gave me a lot of great perspective, a lot of good exposure, and biggest thing, power of measurement, right? So, management by objective was a management theory, got a lot of emphasis in 80s and 90s, right? Management by objective or core competency, so many other things. I feel nowadays the digital economy being 26-year-old, the data, the role of data is, it's management by data. If you can measure, you can control, right? What are the metrics, right? In case of shop and room, I had an ideal financial model, like analyst already ready for these two companies before that could become ready as a prototype. And then I back calculated everything to reach to that ideal financial model. So that was my biggest really reward of, an analyst turning entrepreneur. So clearly, like anything to everything. But, I also want to address one more thing is, look guys, it's whether it's MBA, whether it's analyst, it does not matter. Even your family, maybe what your elder brother or your sister was doing, all those, everything, if you are learning, if you're observing, if you're a thinker, all those things will help you sooner or later. Once learning is one thing, once you have it, it is inseparable from you. It becomes part of who you are, right? So obviously, whether it is MBA or a Wall Street, all those things tremendously helped me to do what I could do. But I also want to tell you that you did not need any of those two things or many more things, which I have probably in my resume. I did not need any of those things to be ended up doing what I ended up doing. The biggest struggle still is when and how you end up pursuing your passion. You don't take no for an answer. You give your 200%. And as they say, after that, it's better to be lucky than smart. So in spite of all those things, sometimes you may not be lucky or maybe you extra lucky.
Thank you, Sandeep, for the detailed answer. I'm sure Prerna got the answer she was looking forward.
Yes, sir. Thank
Sir,
you so much. That was really helpful.
Sure.
sir, am I audible now?
Yeah, Sandeep, we can hear you.
A very good evening, sir. And thank you very much for this insightful session and all the best for your book. Sir, I have a question. Sir, in India, we know that startups fail at a higher rate, I mean, as compared to their success rate. So what is the perhaps the single most factor or the single most reason behind it? Is it the lack of adequate funds, or is it lack of mentorship, or anything else you want to point out?
Sure. No, that's a great question. But for a namesake, I wanted to say, is your name spelled like that for numerology or some astrological benefit? Looks like it was Sandeep and you spell it very differently. I'm just curious. Maybe I can get additional benefit by changing the spelling.
No, sir. No, sir. I mean, Sandeep and Sandeep are different, right? Sandeep means evening light.
Okay.
So, why has a significance over there? It's not for
Okay.
any kind of
All
astrology
right.
purpose.
Okay. No, it was more of my funny bones, by the way. So thank you. But so, okay. Look, the mortality rate in startup is very high, right? It can be everything which you highlighted even in your question, from lack of funding to the so many things. But I'll be honest with you, the startup can fail, entrepreneur never fails, right? So keep that in mind, right? I mean, I think look, the thing which I mentioned in my opening remark about Hewlett and Packard and Kleiner Perkins, right? That from that and the next 80 years, US has created, next 70 to 80 years, US created a great ecosystem where you can get mentorship, you can get capital, you can get capital at a low cost, you can get people trained in the same field in which you have entrepreneurial ambition, right? You can get a lot of other things around it, right? So look, from the time I started Shopclues until now, I think India has gone through a lot. When India will have like Hewlett and Perkins 70 years under belt. So I would say the real entrepreneurship in India started, in my view, in 2010. So it's 2020, 10 years, right? We have come a long way. There are hundreds of people who invest as an investor. There are so many people, current or ex-employees of Flipkart to Shopclues to Room to so many other companies who can guide you, help you. Talent acquisition is no longer that difficult, right? Government policies day by day becoming more friendly. Right? So I think all those things are becoming in failure. My view is, I think still the mortality rate higher is how informed are you about the likely startup path, right? Nothing will be straight line. Murphy law will be applied on you, with a steroid, raised to the power of 2 and steroid. With steroid, anything which can go wrong will go wrong. You may achieve new highs, new lows, sometime in a matter of 3 hours. Do you have a mental and emotional temperament to handle that? Right? When do you give up? Right? When will you be called stubborn, not ready to give up, versus a real test of conviction that how can I give up? It will work. It's just going to take longer. So in my view, mentorship, capital, right, or team member is not the reason you will fail. You will fail when you have a unrealistic promise to yourself, either when to give up or when not to give up, or a unrealistic expectation that so many things are going wrong, right? I can tell you 31 investors did reject me for Shopclues before I got the first round of capital. Most of them later on would regret, because they passed away from a company which in 4 years became $1 billion, and they could actually, in the first round, if someone had come, they would have received 200 times return, right? So to answer your question, I think yes, at a tactical level, running out of capital, team members, talent, competition, government policies, lack of mentorship, all that. But really, in my view, the biggest thing is it's a real test of one's conviction. So you will only fail when you fail at a conviction level. Otherwise, everything else could be just a reason. And if you play your game very tightly and with a lot of grip, and your biggest struggle, honestly, will be you and your own thinking. rather than any external factor.
Thanks, Sandeep. I hope Sandeep got the answer he was looking for, but though it was very detailed. Even I got so many insights on this. But thanks a lot, Sandeep, for such a lovely question you asked. I'll move to the next question. Yash Singla has the question for us. Hi, Yash.
Hello, sir. I'm Yash from PGP 11. Uh, sir, so like you did make great decisions, were like steering up from the Wall Street to shop clues and then to Droom. So how does timing of this startup matter? Like how does this decision make the crucial role? Like if I see the gap in the market while I'm pursuing my MBA, so should I wait till my MBA is over, or I should act on now? So how should I make these crucial decisions?
One would be more like an investment theory, which Warren Buffett and so many other people will teach you in terms of market timing, right? So for every industry, there's a stage where you could become TCS, Wipro, or Infosys. And if you miss that stage, then you could be Tech Mahindra and other like iGate and the next one, right? And if you miss that stage, then you could be the next 10,000 players, right? So law of duopoly kind of play, Coca-Cola and Pepsi and Ford and Chrysler or GM, right, and so on. So it is there, right, in India, like, a lot of e-commerce on a mainstream e-commerce is pretty much now Flipkart and Amazon, right? There are probably about 15,000 more companies in e-commerce, right? But those two companies probably have 80% market share. Next 5 companies may have 10% market share, and next 10,000 players may have the remaining 10% market share, right? So it always plays like that. So that is on an investment theory side. But in terms of, but you also added a dimension about doing MBA, should you be doing something during MBA, etc. There, I would say, look, my best answer for that would be when you reach to a stage where the regret of not pursuing your entrepreneurial dream will be bigger than anything you give up. That is your perfect timing. But if you are waiting that let me get married, let me have kids, let me date someone, let me save 10 lakh rupees, let me buy a house, let me settle down, let me take care of my family members, or maybe I'm not ready yet. How can I take such a big risk? I have too much of peer pressure, right? If you are in that, theoretically, you are not ready in terms of timing. So one is a market timing and one is a timing for yourself. And timing for yourself is when you never have to ask a question, am I ready?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Yash, for this question. We can have next question from Apurva. Apurva Patel joined us. Apurva, what's your question?
Yeah, very good evening, sir. I am Apurva Patel from PGP 11 batch, IIM Rohtak. So my question is, as the advancement of COVID-19, most of the firms and investors and peoples are more concerned to be safe in this in the situation of crisis. So basically, as an investor point of perspective, still investor prefers core in for choosing in a startup, or now they are going for a more stable plan rather than an innovation.
Right. Yeah, Apurva, while you were breaking up a little bit, I think I got a gist of your question. Look, right now, see, there's a $35 trillion investable assets in the United States. There's another $35 trillion in the United States, probably another 50 billion for rest of the world. So there are always 100 to 120 trillion dollar investable assets. These assets are not in heirloom jewelry or Picasso or Monet painting or in real estate, but they are in public and private companies, in debt or equity, right? So there is always lot of money. It is almost like an inventory for the people who have it, right? And then there are different stages of investor, right? Angel investor or seed investor invest very early stage. VC invest slightly later than the very early stage. Private equity can come when you are about to become public or maybe have already become public. Right? Then the buyout firms may only come when your public company may be not so good run, and then someone can acquire you, change the cash flow and refine. So the investors come in different stages, right? So it's not like that someone who invests early stage will now start investing in a late stage or in a steady platform, which you kind of implied in your question, right? So, but what is happening is overall, lot of investors are now sitting in the sidelines because a lot of them are not able to say what should be the right valuation for assets where they will invest or where is the bottom, right? But right now, so much more money is available for early stage companies. So if you look at the every calamity or the downward cycle comes, it always encourage the early stage companies, because right now someone may like a very developed asset really well, but they also have to shell off much larger check, right? So right now I can tell you, even I have in the last 45 days have invested at least in 3 startups, and in any 45 days I have not done 3 startups in the past, right? So and I know for sure, because I'm a very active angel investor, I'm an entrepreneur, I seek money and investment, right now, if you are raising anywhere between 5 lakh to 5 crore rupees, it's a great time to be an entrepreneur because a lot of that money is available.
Thanks, Sandeep, for the detailed answer. Apurva, I hope
Thank
you
you
got
so
the
much,
answer.
sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Apurva, for your
Yeah,
question.
yeah. Thank you so much, sir.
Hi, Vatsal. You can put up your question now.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
I
Uh,
was.
so there's this analysis in which we read everywhere. Whenever there is a financial crisis in the world and the unemployment rates are skyrocketing high, and uh, all the at this time there are few gems which have the power to become an entrepreneur, going against the entire world and becoming the Fortune 500, coming in the Fortune 500 company. Like at least 60% of the Fortune 500 companies have been started when the entire world was at financial crisis, be it the dot-com bubble burst, be it the 2008 thing, or any other financial crisis in the world. So what are your thoughts on this?
See, yeah, I mean, look, Vatsal, it's very similar to the previous question's answer. Look, anyone in shortly, uh, in US in the second half of 2010, in the year 2000 and the beginning of during 9/11, from mid of 2000 to 9/11 2001, dot-com bust happened, right? There was a biggest meltdown of the wealth and the companies and the employment, during that time. Anyone who survived from that today is a very large company, right? So I think it is more like a cohort. It's like a cohort that, every time the companies will keep on coming, there will be always entrepreneur, but someone who managed to start a company during tough time, or someone who managed not to die during tough time, probably has a higher killer instinct or instinct for survival of the fittest, right? So like our, entrepreneurship in general is not for faint of heart, and someone who's thinking in the bad markets probably, pardon me for using stereotypical conclusion, but is probably stronger than 80% other entrepreneur. Someone during tough time where the low startup in general have high mortality rate, someone who survived during the bad time probably is stronger than 80% other startups. So those two things combined together that's how it works. And that is why in my previous question, the answer I mentioned that, a lot of you should not be worried about what is the market environment right now. In fact, it's a great opportunity to start a company. And believe me, the funding, to the contrary, it may sound counterintuitive to you, but right now a lot of funding is available for the early stage startup, right? And in Gujarati there's a saying that if you can survive any business which can survive for 1000 days, reality is it can survive for lifetime, right? Same way what you mentioned is also the answer, is if you could create a company and survive during the downward cycles, reality is you will survive and can become Fortune 500 company. So it's a great time to be an entrepreneur.
Thank you. Thanks, Sandeep, for your detailed answer. I'm sure Vatsal got the answer he was looking forward. I'm sure most of the question being asked in the Q&A box, the people are asking it live as well, and most of them being answered. Considering the time limit, we will just take the last three questions. I can see there are three more participants raised hands. We'll just take these three last questions. Shweta, you can ask your question now.
Okay, thank you so much. So, a very good evening, sir. I'm Shweta Singh from PGP Batch 11. So, my question would be on a very broad terms. So, what I want to know is how do entrepreneurs bring revolution in consumer behavior?
Right. So look, Shweta, a lot of entrepreneurship is about doing something which was not previously possible, right? That's also a definition of innovation, that what is possible now, which was not previously possible, right? So most of the entrepreneurship either are identifying an opportunity which was not identified by others, or they identify an opportunity in a way which is very uniquely different from others, or they solve an existing problem which has gone unaddressed, right? All those means a behavioral shift, right? It's all it's a behavioral shift in consumers' mind, right? Cisco had acquired a company 15 years back for video conferencing, right? Microsoft acquired for $8.8 billion Skype. Google had Google Hangout, they named, I do not even know current name, maybe Google Meets, right? So there are so many other things, but you know, it is Zoom. It's Zoom which captured the market share because they brought the biggest shift, a seamless shift in user behavior for video conferencing, right? There were 23 search engines. They all made everyone ready about what is called search. Google brought a permanent shift called search, right? A lot of things now no longer we carry in our brain because we can search it instantaneously on Google, right? So if you look at, and then not only technology more so, but honestly, every company bring the behavioral shift, and this is part of what we do, and it's called disruption, right? When you basically bring a behavioral shift, right, or you kind of see, or you can capture the macro level trends, how the shift is happening, and you have an offering for that, right? So if you have an offering for that, also you accelerate that shift which is going to happen any, or you bring, or you are category leader in something and you solved a problem or a friction better than, cheaper than, faster than others, that it has brought an behavioral shift, right? I think without, maybe I'm giving too much credit, but without Zoom, I don't think Droom, and I can speak for thousands of other companies, but I don't think Droom would have worked as efficiently as we ended up doing. And you would not believe, we had all type of everything which sounded very minutiae and small, but we had a Zoom training or a presentation about various things you can use for Zoom, how, etc. And it has bring a behavioral shift, where I'm sitting, how I'm talking to you, how you are asking question, how the questions are appearing in the Q&A field. All that, isn't that is a behavioral shift, right? So yes, I mean, you know, any company which becomes a category leader, anything which brings a lot of disruption also brings with a behavioral shift.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Sandeep, for giving the live examples actually while we are speaking. And Shweta, I hope you got the answer.
Yes, absolutely.
Shruti, you can ask your question now. Shruti Mishra.
Good evening, sir. I'm Shruti Mishra. I'm a first year student at IIM Rohtak. I wanted to know what are your views about startups serving to tier 2 and tier 3 cities, because most of the enterprises that start in metropolitan cities and tier 1 cities.
Yeah, you know, it's a great question. I think, as I mentioned about the, you know, the I used about the grandmaster 14-year-old kid from Norway. Same way, you know, I think if you want to tap into the next 200 million internet users, tier 2, tier 3 cities, or a language, instruction language other than English, or more vernacular language, right? All those India is ready to offer, right? So I think, you know, in the past, the entire internet population was so small that does not matter what percentage of India's GDP you are addressing with your startup. beyond tier 1 city, you did not have a sizable market. Now with 700, 800 million internet users, all have a high-speed internet, and that overall, maturing savviness online, I think the tier 2, tier 3 city offers great potential. So I would expect maybe you or others, but the tier 2, tier 3, even for every company which is already big right now, for them, or a new businesses venture catering only to tier 2 and tier 3, or especially to tier 2, tier 3, is absolutely a very lucrative opportunity, and it will reward entrepreneurs big time. Now the market size is so big that does not matter what percentage of India's GDP and how do you segment the market. It is sizable for a new startup to create a meaningful opportunity. So absolutely, whether it is a vernacular language or whether geographically it is tier 2, tier 3, it's a very lucrative opportunity for entrepreneurship right now.
Thanks, Sandeep, for the detailed answer. And thanks a lot for the great question, Shruti. Next question is coming from Ishita Verma. Ishita, I saw you wrote a question in the Q&A box as well, but you can ask it here.
Sure. Hello, sir. Good evening. This is Ashita Verma from PGP 11. I'm Rohtak. So, sir, I would like to ask this question that I saw that, during lockdown, Room has launched the Jumpstart, which is a doorstep service for the vehicles. So, I wanted to know how was the response for this service, and, is there any other service like this that, you're planning to actually launch, such as Jumpstart?
Ishita, during lockdown, our business came down almost by 100%. Like, we did like 700 crore rupees worth of vehicle selling and buying on our platform in February. The number was half of that in March, but number was only 2% of that in April. India was completely locked down, right? And buying vehicle or selling vehicle was not among the top 5 things you wanted to do online, right? And there are like a lot of very intelligent people at Room who had so much of bandwidth working from home, not getting ready, spending time in metro or commute. So we had a lot of good bandwidth. I hope history will say that we used this time very judiciously, but we ended up creating Jumpstart, Jump Shield, and many such services. So in the past, Room was only available for buying, selling, and discovery. And then we said, because the vehicles are not only for buying and selling, unlike t-shirts, shoes, and books, you use it for dozens of years, right? So we call them big asset, and they have a life cycle. Like every vehicle may need insurance every year. It may need 3 to 4 repairs per year. It may need refinancing. It may need painting and many other things. So during this time, we had a platform called Eco, which we used. It's a very technology, IoT, and AI-based platform which we use to inspect a vehicle. What you learn in MBA called economy of scope, we used that platform and created a massive economy of scope around that platform. And Jumpstart for vehicle repair and maintenance, Jump Shield, which is inspection, cleaning, and disinfectant services, not only automobile, but elevator, school, hospital, right, anything. And dozens of new services coming, hopefully, in the next couple of months. That has become a very large platform for us, very, very rewarding, very profitable. And we have, for example, in Jump Shield, we have close to 100 franchisees all over India, right? So a lot of more services will come, which could be anti-rust treatment for your vehicle, maybe oil change and oil top up at your doorstep for a very low price. So anywhere you don't need a shop floor, heavy machinery, and large team, but work can be performed at your doorstep, you will see Room getting into all of those services in coming months. We have a large team, big strategy, and lot of capital allocation for this area. And Jumpstart, which you mentioned, and Jump Shield are 2 of those.
Thank you, sir. It definitely answered my question.
Thank you. Thanks, Ishita. And now with that, we came to the last question for the day, coming from Sanjana Jadhav. Sanjana, you can ask your question now. Hi, Sanjana, can you hear us? Looks like Sanjana is facing
Hello,
some.
sir.
Hi, yeah, Sanjana, we can hear you
Yes,
now.
yes. So my question is regarding like I'm a fresher, and most of the freshers have this question that is it really necessary to have work experience before starting onto the entrepreneurial journey? Like, should we go for work experience and then we should think upon the work upon the idea we have?
See, look, like MBA, like there was a question about how much was MBA important for me to become an entrepreneur. Then there was a question about Wall Street experience. Now you are asking about work experience. These are very, very relevant questions. And I'll be honest with you, I have gone through these so many times, not as to answer, but when I was on the at your situation. Right? See, look, this is not science. This is art and science, right? Work experience can help you think in framework. Work experience can help you face some of the things previously before you face them as an entrepreneur, right? But on the other hand, the work experience can see a lot of things can actually in entrepreneurship. Please understand, this is not a science alone, but a lot of things can work as a ignorance is bliss, right? Because once you know too much, theoretically you are also mitigating a risk somewhere. So having an MBA, having a Wall Street experience, or having a work experience can help you. And I think I have been able to articulate how, but it can also go against you because then you know so much and you may not take a chance. And entrepreneurship is all about taking a chance, right? It's all about underwriting your conviction and jumping out of the building without parachute, with a hope that you will land in you will land in a swimming pool, right? So so my point is, if you feel something, if you feel very strongly about something and you think you can do it now, don't delay it just because you want to have a work experience, right? And so that's what I would say. I mean, in my case, I was a late bloomer. I was not a dropout. I was in my uh, 30s, right? When and I already worked with 4 Fortune 100 companies in a very cushy job before I became an entrepreneur. When I think back my journey, I think I would have loved to start, at a stage in life where most of you are, right? So I don't think there's one answer, but it's really, but in entrepreneurship, I ended up doing a lot of things which resulted into big reward, but I ended up doing because I did not know too much about it. And if I knew too much about it, I think it would have gone against me.
Thank you so much, sir. It really answered my question. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Sanjana, for this question. And thanks a lot, Sandeep, for taking so many questions from the students. And I hope students liked all the answers. So with this, we came to end of the today's session. Before my closing note, I have one more announcement for our attendees today. And that is, as I said, that we are releasing the autobiography of Mr. Sandeep Aggarwal on the day he is completing a decade in entrepreneurship, and the book titled as Fall Again, Rise Again, because you fail in while you are in your journey and you take some learning. So the title is Fall Again, Rise Again, releasing on 10th October. So on entire Droom family side, from entire Droom family side, I would like to invite each of the student to join us because it's a virtual event. You can join us. The details are on your screen. You can just go on the website called www.fallagainriseagain.com and just RSVP yourself over there. You will get a link and you can join us. It's at 4 p.m. on 10th October. So you all are invited. That's what I want to say. I'll give the closing remark, but before that, Sandeep, we have Tanisha Mahajan from the EIC entrepreneurship cell from IIM Rohtak. They want to give a thank you note from their side to you to take out time for today's session. Tanisha, over to you.
Thank you. So it was really great learning from you and your journey and your insights on entrepreneur dynamics, ranging from resilience and most important, if they can do it, you can do it. So, sir, thank you so much for taking your time out and enlightening us with your knowledge. The students have gained valuable insights from your experience. We hope it was a positive experience for you as well, sir. Again, thank you, sir. My sincere thanks for boosting the entrepreneurial spirit of the students here, and we hope to have a long-standing collaboration with you, sir. Greetings
Thank
from
you,
IIM.
Tanisha. Thank you, Tanisha. Thank you for all the kind words. And thank you, Megha. Thank you for hosting us, guys. We are just a shout away in case, we are not too far from Rohtak. In case you want to visit us, see our facilities, see how the products, you want to take a tour of the sausage factory, we are happy to do that. If you want to collaborate on any projects, we do hire for internship and full time. We are very, very active in a lot of campuses and happy to collaborate with you. Absolutely, I hope a lot of you, it will give us a lot of happiness if a lot of you think about entrepreneurship and next generation finest companies come out of you guys. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Sandeep. With this, I'll close the remark for the today. I appreciate each of the students who took time to join us today, and I hope it was useful for you as well. I would also like to thank Entrepreneurship and Innovation Council at IIM Rohtak to arrange this session. Tanisha and Megha are the member of that. We'll definitely meet you sometime soon with the new chapter, with the new topics. But keep in touch with us, and you can reach out with your question, and you can reach out to us at Room. And people who want to interact with Sandeep, they want to take some feedback on their projects and want to interact with Sandeep. And for more master classes, you can visit at sandeep@sandeepaggarwal.com, and you can write at sandeep@sandeepaggarwal.com, and you can write at CEO@room.in as well. Hope to see you all at the launch, and many thanks to each one once again. Thanks a lot. Have a great evening.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Shashank, for this insightful session.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shashank.